Hello everyone, peace be with you. It's me, Sammy, or Samuel as I would like to be called. We're going to continue discussing the rules, comparative laws when it comes to Ramadan. And today we're going to talk about, or in this episode, we're going to be talking about if someone spots the moon in one land, does it apply to another? If someone sights the moon in one town, does it apply to the other? That's what we're going to be discussing in this episode. So, I begin in the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. I praise and I glorify him as he ought to be praised and glorified. I hope you guys are doing well, by the way. I forgot to ask that. I know I won't get an answer here, right away, but I hope you guys are doing well. Okay, let's start. Ibn Rushd, the author of the book, says, if we say that sighting is established for those who have not sighted it on the basis of a report, then can this be extended from one land to the other? I mean, is it obligatory upon the people in one region, if they have not sighted the moon, to adopt the sighting in another land? Or is sighting necessary for every land? Or is sighting necessary for every land? So, basically, it's what I said in the beginning. So, can people take the testimony of a group of people that come from another land? Or do they have to have their own sighting for their land? Well, let's see. So, there is disagreement over this. And by the way, in almost, I'll say most topics when it comes to fiqh, Islamic jurisprudence, which is Islamic law, if there's always another view. There's always another view. At least one other view, sometimes more. There's always at least one other view. It's not just one view. And by the way, knowing these different views could save families, could save marriages, could save a person from the devil, from Satan. It could save a person. The different views must be known. If someone chooses to do his own reasoning, still, even if you do use your own reasoning and produce your own verdicts, you should still see what others had to say. Because you may see something better than your own verdict, and you'll say that, oh, I didn't even think about that. And it would make perfect sense, and it would apply perfectly to some situation. You will make your life easier, God willing, and you will make someone else's life easier, God willing, because of the understanding of different views. Let's continue. So, there is disagreement over this. Ibn al-Qasim was one of the students of Malik. I think he was based in Egypt, if I'm not mistaken. Ibn al-Qasim and the Egyptian jurists who follow Malik, Imam Malik, have related from Malik that if it is established for the people of one town that the people in another town have sighted the moon, they are under an obligation of qada for the day observed by others and missed by them. Meaning that if a group of people know that in another land people have sighted the moon, okay, so people in another town have sighted the moon. Another town have sighted the moon. These people know that those people in the other town sighted the moon, but they have chosen not to fast because they did not sight the moon. According to this group of Malikis who narrate from Malik, they said so when Ramadan starts, for those people, if these people did not start fasting in this town when those other people did because they sighted the moon, then these people have to make up whatever days they missed. So if it was 1 or 2 days that they missed because their town did not sight the moon, they have to make up the fast according to this narration. Meaning that in this case, according to this view, the sighting in another town applies to you. Applies to this town. I'll give you my take at the end. By the way, reasons and everything, it's included. So, This was also the opinion of Ash-Shafi'i and Ahmad. Imam Ash-Shafi'i and Ahmad ibn Hanbal were under the same view as this particular view by Malik, this particular narration attributed to Malik. Now, the Medinites, meaning the people from Medina, the Maliki madhab, in my understanding, had 5 different groups of followers. Those in Medina, those in Iraq, Baghdad if I'm not mistaken, those in Egypt, those in the Maghrib, perhaps Libya, Algeria, Tunisia, what is known today as Libya, Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco, and those in Al-Andalus, which was Spain, where Muslims were there. So these 5 different locations had Malikis, but you'll find that they had different views, like the Iraqis and the Medinites. So anyway, the Medinites, the people from Medina, have related from Malik. They heard from Malik that citing on the basis of a report is not binding upon people not living in the land in which citing occurred, unless the Imam requires the people to do so. So this is the opposite of what we saw that Malik said earlier, according to Ibn al-Qasim and the Egyptian jurists of the Maliki school in Egypt. The Egyptian jurists of the Maliki school, who were based in Egypt. So this view says that if someone else in another town sees the moon and your people don't, it's not binding upon you to fast, except if the Imam, meaning the leader, says to do so. Now, why is there an exception? Because the moon comes before the Imam. We didn't see the moon. But what happens, more than likely, it's one of 2 reasons. One, they might be under the view that you have to obey the ruler, like the verse in the Quran, and obey God and His Messenger and those who are who have command over you. If I'm not mistaken, that's the translation I can think of. Those who have command over you. So they're saying we have to obey the Imam, or it might be a political reason where we don't want to get abused by this man. We're just going to follow him because of fear, basically, to protect themselves, because those rulers during their times were vicious killers, torturing people. They were vicious. So namely the Umayyads and Abbasids. So now yes, so this was the opinion of Ibn al-Majishun and of al-Mughira from among the disciples of Malik. So those disciples of Malik had this same view, that the sighting of the moon in a town does not apply to your town. You have to sight it in your town. Now, they agreed that this is not to be taken into account for lands distant from each other, like Al-Andalus and Al-Hijaz. So, meaning that, so furthermore, they agreed that this is not to be applied to people from, who are from lands distant from each other, like Al-Hijaz, which is basically between Mecca and Medina, and Al-Andalus, which is Spain. So these are 2 different lands. Similarly, the same thing applies. Okay? Now, the reason for this disagreement comes from the conflict of traditions, narrations, reports, the conflict of traditions and reasoning. The reasoning is that if the timing of the rising of the sun and the stars in different lands does not differ very much, it is necessary that one should follow the other. Because if the timing of the rising of the sun, when the sun rises, that time of the rising of the sun does not differ very much, it is necessary, the rising of the sun and stars in different lands does not differ very much, it is necessary that one should follow the other. So if we're in San Francisco and in LA we have the same time zone, and we have their sunrise is not so different from our sunrise, then we fast the same day they fast. This is what happens actually in North America, but this is basically what it's saying. Okay? So, as by reason they have the same horizon. If it does differ much, however, then it is not binding upon one region to follow another. Meaning that if there is a big difference, like between here and India, then these people of the people of one land distant from India don't have to fast. That's the reasoning. The tradition is what is related by Muslim. Muslim meaning Muslim ibn Hajjaj, the author of the Sahih Muslim. So the tradition is what is related by Muslim from Quraib. From Quraib may have been a tabi'i. From Quraib, that Umm al-Fadl bint al-Harith sent him to Muawiyah. So al-Fadl bint al-Harith, I don't know who she was, but a woman by the name of al-Fadl bint al-Harith, she sent Quraib to Muawiyah in Syria. I will give you my view of Muawiyah. Muawiyah was a corrupt man. I don't consider him a Muslim. He was a kafir, and he's a very wicked man. I can do a whole series about this topic, and Muawiyah, the only reason people defend him is because they say he was a companion of the Prophet. He was neither a muhajir nor a member of the Ansar. He was a corrupt man. He's actually the man who is the reason why the ummah went from being a humble caliphate to practically a corrupt monarchy. If it was a good monarchy, that would have been another situation. He is the one who corrupted it. You can look it up. Don't take my word for it, like LeVar Burton says on Reading Rainbow. So, Quraib was sent to Muawiyah in Syria. That's where he was in charge of, Sham. Quraib, I reached Syria and did what she had required. The moon of Ramadan came upon me while I was in Syria, and I sighted it on the night before Friday. So he sighted it on Thursday night, the eve of Friday. Near the end of the month, I moved to Medina, where Abdullah ibn Abbas questioned me and then mentioned the moon. Abdullah ibn Abbas did not like Muawiyah, by the way. Bitter enemies. Ibn Abbas did not like Muawiyah. They fought in a war against each other where there is no record that I'm aware of that Ibn Abbas and Muawiyah made amends. Ibn Abbas was strictly a follower because at that time Ali had a group, Muawiyah had a group. Ali didn't want that. Muawiyah chose to be a renegade. Ibn Abbas stood with Ali. Abdullah ibn Abbas, one of the major narrators of hadith, of hadith and athar, narrations. So, reports. So, Quraib says, near the end of the month of Ramadan, I moved to Medina where Abdullah ibn Abbas questioned me and then mentioned the moon, saying, when did you sight the moon? Meaning in Syria. I said, we saw it on the night before Friday. He asked, Ibn Abbas, did you yourself see it? I said, yes, and so did the people. They fasted and Muawiyah fasted too. He said, but we sighted it on the night before Saturday. So they sighted it the next night in Medina. We saw it on the night before. We sighted it on the night before Saturday. And we continue to fast till we either complete 30 days or sight it. Till we complete 30 days or we sight it before 30 days. So Quraib said, do you not consider Muawiyah's fasting as sufficient? To Ibn Abbas, he's asking, do you not consider Muawiyah's fasting as sufficient? He replied, no. Ibn Abbas. He replied, no, this is what the Prophet, God's peace and blessings be upon him, ordered us to do. The apparent meaning in this tradition implies that each land, near or distant, must sight the moon. Each land must sight the moon. Investigation, however, reveals a difference between distant and near lands, especially those that are at a great distance in terms of longitude and latitude. If the report, this is Ibn Rushd writing, by the way, 1,000 years ago perhaps, if the report about sighting reaches the level of tawatur, there is no need to support it with testimony. These then are the issues related to the duration of the obligation. Okay, so I'm going to give my view about this matter. So now, if I were to choose between Ibn Abbas and Muawiyah as people, I choose Ibn Abbas without a doubt. But if it was the case that the moon was sighted in Syria by Quraib, which he said he sighted it, which he said that he did sight the moon, and the people of Medina did not sight it, Quraib's fast is valid because the moon was sighted. If the people in Medina did not see it, that's another story. Now, I want to talk about how this applies to now. Do we still go by that way? So if the moon was spotted in Pakistan the moon was sighted, or in Algeria the moon was sighted, or in Malaysia the moon was sighted, does this apply to us? Well, my logic is we have the same moon, we have the same days. The timing might be, for them, tomorrow is what today is for me, perhaps. For someone who's living in East Asia, it's tomorrow for him right now. But for me, I'm still in what's yesterday for him. So what applies to him applies to me, meaning that the 31st of March, meaning that for him, he's in April. I'm in the 31st, but I'm going to be arriving in April, God willing, if I'm alive, tomorrow, April 1st. So now what happens if he sights the moon and I trust him, whoever it is, or a group sights the moon and I trust them? They sighted the moon. I didn't. Can it work? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because their moon is our moon. We don't have two different moons. Not only that, the moon, when it's first born, from what I have learned, when it's first born, when it's a new moon, when it's a new baby, we can name the moon that just was born, I don't know, they named him Sa'id. The moon is masculine in Arabic, by the way. So if the new moon that's newborn, it's not visible to the naked eye. I don't know about telescopes, but it's not visible. However, you can look it up, astronomically speaking, you could look it up online or wherever. Is there a new moon? And it will say there is a new moon. It was just born at this time. Yes, you can't see it because it's not visible to the naked eye. And back in the older days that they just saw the moon, okay, fasting. Or if someone knows about astronomical calculation, that's valid too. According to one of the tabi'een. If we go back to Mutarrif ibn al-Shikhir, one of the leading tabi'un, Mutarrif ibn al-Shikhir, he said that if someone is familiar with astronomical calculation, then you take their view, if I'm not mistaken. So the moon is there. You cannot see it because it had just been born. It's still, I believe the word is waning. when it's still waning, if I'm not mistaken. So the crescent still cannot be seen, but it's the new moon is there. If the new moon is there, are we still in so if it's Ramadan and Ramadan, we're waiting for the end of Ramadan. If Allah gave us Ramadan all year, we would be pleased that it never ends. But when we're waiting for the next month, Shawwal, which comes after Ramadan, the month we're in right now. Now, during Ramadan, when we look at so if there is a new moon, does that mean we're still in Ramadan or are we in Shawwal? We're in Shawwal. There's a new moon. It's there. We can't see it, but it's there. Meaning that it's a new month. If someone's fasting while there is a new moon, he says that he doesn't see it, okay, fine. But there is a new moon. It's a new month. It's there. The moon is there. The reason why you cannot see it is because it's completely in front. It's between the sun and the earth. It's not an eclipse. There's another name for it. But it's between us and the sun. That's what happens. It's so perfect. It's perfectly aligned between us and the sun that the moon becomes it's totally dark. We're looking at the dark side of the moon. Because the moon's light comes from what? Reflection of the sun. The moon acts as a mirror. So anyway, that's that. And so this is next we will continue talking about the reasons for disagreement on the next episode. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys are always well. God bless you all. Peace be with you.